In today's video, we're going to take a look at our top 5 AI stocks pullback watch list. My name is Larry Tentarelli with Blue Chip Daily. In today's video, we're going to take a look at charts for Nvidia, Supermicro Computer, Advanced Micro Devices, Arista Networks, and Microsoft. So our AI pullback watch list top 5. The Fed meeting is this week, so it could be volatile right around the Fed press conference. And what I do is every time we have a big event or a potentially high volatility week, I always have a best ideas watch list ready to go for both breakouts and pullbacks. So even the best stocks have to pull back and reset at some point. So what we want to do there is we want to take advantage of the volatility. We don't buy right into the pullback. So I wait for the stock to actually turn back up. That's something that we'll talk about shortly. Pullback buys are chart specific. So I do share buy points with our members in real time. And then what we want to do is we want to selectively buy pullbacks on the way back up, but we want to avoid a longer term change in trend. And that's something that I dial into on the charts. So top 5 AI stocks, we're going to start with the real leader, Nvidia. They are the true AI leader in GPU semiconductors, and they really power the shift into generative AI. So $2.2 trillion market cap. We'll take a look at some of the basics, and then we'll take a look at the chart. So obviously, key uptrend for Nvidia, $2.2 trillion market cap. I don't focus on PE too much. A lot of the market does though. So I always want to take a look at what are the trends. So trailing PE 74, forward PE 29. That is a low forward PE. For their growth rate, it looks like the analysts are looking for 93% earnings growth this year, and they've had some strong growth numbers coming into the year as well. So 78% year to date, the stock's ahead so far. It's had a big breakout move, but if we take a look on the charts, we can see the stock is trading over 4 rising moving averages. So it's in an uptrend on multiple time frames. Recently made new all-time highs. Now, I will say that Nvidia is our biggest single stock position. We've been holding a position since last May. And in this video of the 5 charts that we're going to go into, we've got positions in 4 of the stocks. So Nvidia is the leader. But here's what I look for is at some point, these charts, it's healthy for them to consolidate and pull back to a degree and get a technical reset, because as strong as Nvidia is, it moved more than 100% in the middle in the year. So it tested 475 in the beginning of January, and then it was up to 974. So the stock more than doubled in less than a 12-week period. So anytime a stock moves that fast, especially a stock that's that big, I always anticipate that at some point there does have to be some give back. There does have to be some reset before the next leg higher. So trading over all the rising moving averages over the 20-day is a very strong chart, but for my time frame, and we focus on the 3 to 6 to 12 month windows, for my time frame, anything over this rising 50-day moving average keeps that intermediate term uptrend intact. So this has been a leader year to date, up 78%. It's 9% off the highs. So we'll keep an eye on it after the Fed meeting. Obviously, if it starts to break out, it's a lot easier, at least for me. Breakout buys for me are a lot easier than pullback buys, because with a breakout buy, we're buying strength as opposed to a pullback buy where we're buying weakness. But Nvidia is our number 1 single stock position, and it is a very good possibility that we could add to it at any time over the next few days. Over the next week, we'll see how the charts work out. Stock number 2 is going to be Supermicro Computer. So Supermicro Computer is more in the hardware side of the industry, in the AI server side. $55 billion market cap, 78 times trailing, 33 times projected forward. Analysts are looking for earnings growth this year of 84%, and it looks like they've had obviously some very strong earnings and sales numbers over the past 12 months. Now, Supermicro has really been the market leader, up 252% for the year. It is down about 18.5% off the highs at the close today, but Supermicro, we looked at Nvidia, which had doubled. Supermicro actually was up over 300% from the lows 300 and change up to over 1200. So very, very strong move. But once again, at some point, all stocks do consolidate, all stocks do pull back before the next leg higher. So pulling back here just to the 20-day moving average, it's held that 20-day really going back to January. So very strong move. The 50-day moving average is right around 715 or 720. So once again, even if it were to pull back all the way down to that level, and I'm not saying that it will, but even if it did pull back to that 50-day, it still keeps that entire intermediate term uptrend intact. Now, I will say that Supermicro is probably the highest potential upside stock of these five. It also is the most volatile of these five. So it can trade in very wide ranges, but we do have that on the watch list. Stock number 3, Advanced Micro Devices, also in semiconductors. So they're a competitor to Nvidia, but Nvidia really dominates the industry for GPUs. I think they've got about 75 to 80% of the industry from the research that I've read. $308 billion market cap, 364 times trailing. So they had weak earnings trailing 12 months. 34 times forward, which is more reasonable. Analysts are looking for 39% earnings growth this year. So this trend is holding right above the rising 50-day. So it didn't move as fast as Nvidia or Supermicro, up 29% for the year, down 16% off the highs, but it really has a nice move over this 50-day moving average. So if there is any further pullback, I'd really like to see that 50-day and 180 price level hold on AMD. There is some support here from 160 to 180, but in reality, I'd like to see, we'll call it 175, that 50-day. That's the level that I'd like to see hold. But I do believe that these stocks will be buyable either on the pullbacks or on the breakouts. We've been adding to our positions over the past few months. Not recently. Our last buy in the group was we added Nvidia right about $814 or so on the way up to $974. But very high on the watch list, AMD. So Arista Networks, this is probably the closest to the highs. It actually is. So Arista, they're in the computer hardware side. They're in the data center networking end of the business. $90 billion market cap, 43 times trailing, 33 times forward. Earnings growth this year looks a little bit low, projected at 7%, a little bit higher going forward. It's been a pretty consistent name as far as earnings goes. Up 22% year to date, but only down 1.1% off the high. So today was actually a new daily closing high for Arista. So very strong stock, very good relative strength here. It's got a lot of support. If we look at the chart, 260 is a support base, 266 or so is the rising 50-day moving average. So a lot of key support here on the chart between 255 to 260 or so. Nice longer term uptrend, not as volatile. We can see it's almost 1/4 as volatile as Supermicro. So less volatile. Hasn't had the upside move, but once again on this list, we've got some higher volatility stocks. We've got 2 in semiconductors. We've got 1 in AI servers. We've got 1 in data center networking. And then we'll go to the last stock, which is Microsoft. Microsoft, everyone knows they're the largest stock in the US markets. They're a leader in software, AI data centers, cloud, cybersecurity, really everything. 37 times trailing, 31 times forward. Analysts are looking for about 18% earnings growth this year. Stock is up 10% year to date, so a little bit quieter. It is a much bigger market cap. So for the most part, as we move higher in market cap, the earnings growth does tend to slow. Nvidia has been a bit of an outlier with their earnings growth, but up 10% year to date, down 2.4% off the highs. Nice uptrend over this rising 50-day moving average. It consolidated recently into the 50-day, then broke out and made new all-time highs just a few days ago, pulling back over support over the rising 50-day. And ideally, if there's any further pullback, I'd like to see that chart hold over 400. And then on the high side, if it clears 430, that would be a breakout to new highs. So could have some volatility this week. We've got some pullbacks that are already underway, but these are leading stocks, leading technology stocks in one of the leading growth themes in the markets right now in artificial intelligence. So these are very high on the watch list, and we should get some more clarity over the next few days.
Welcome to Blue Chip Daily, one of the industry's premier sources for high-level daily technical and trend analysis. Blue Chip Daily is ideal for both investors and traders of all time frames who want to be on the right side of major market moves and trends. We focus on over 750 large cap stocks, all major stock indices, over 70 exchange-traded funds, bonds, oil, gold, and Bitcoin. Sign up now for Blue Chip Daily, and you will get access to real-time portfolio alerts, premium Twitter page with intraday alerts and commentary, the chart of the day with best idea, daily video and report, and much more. Claim 30-day trial at www.bluechipdaily.com.